The Massachusetts market bent but didn't break. Prices edged higher, sales found air, and a quiet surge in new listings started to change the tempo. Start with October 2020-5. Single-family closings didn't drift sideways. They rose 5.6% year-over-year, landing at 3,921 homes sold statewide. The median price on those single-family homes reached $660,000, up 2.3% from the prior October. Condos told a different story. Closed condo sales slipped 1.1% year-over-year, but price didn't blink, $549,900 at the median, a 2.8% jump in that same month. This wasn't a stalled market. It was a market learning to move with a lighter touch, even as inventory stayed stubborn. Go back 1 month to September 2025. The pulse was clear. Closed sales increased 4.8% for single-family homes and 6.4% for condos compared to September 20th to 484. Prices were firm. The single-family median rose 4.7% to $654,500. Condos ticked higher by 1%, reaching a $525,000 median. Beneath those medians, supply wrestled with demand. Single-family inventory fell 4.2% year-over-year, pinching choice. Condo inventory actually rose 5.1%, adding breathing room. And for the first time in a while, listings showed signs of life. New single-family listings increased 7.5% year-over-year. New condo listings jumped 13.3%. The line from seller pricing to buyer attention tightened. Goldilocks pricing, not too high, not too low, drew interest and closed deals. Spin the tape back to August 2027, the statewide single-family median sales price reached $680,000, a 4.6% rise from a year earlier. Yet new single-family listings grew by only 1.3%, while single-family inventory shrank 3.3%. That squeeze showed up in closings, which declined 4.6% for single-family that month. Condos broke formation. The condo median fell 3.1% year-over-year to $540,000 in August, even as new condo listings rose 2.9% and condo inventory ticked up 0.9%. Closed condo sales dipped just 0.5%. Across both property types, many well-priced homes still drew multiple offers, even as some listings lingered a bit longer. By September and October, the market's rhythm stabilized. Fewer outsized swings, more emphasis on price discipline, and small but notable gains in the flow of new auctions. So what happened? Why? Who felt it? And what's next? The frame is simple. Massachusetts demand didn't disappear, it recalibrated. Sellers met buyers partway, and buyers stayed in the hunt. The clearest tell: statewide new single-family listings rising 7.5% in September 2025, alongside new condo listings up 13.3%. That fresh supply supported a 4.8% increase in single-family closed sales and a 6.4% jump in condo closings in that same month. In October, single-family closings continued higher at 3,921 sold, even as inventory constraints persisted. When inventory pulls back 4.2% year-over-year for single-family in September, but closings still increase, it means pricing and preparation carried real weight. It also means buyers are reading market signals fast and acting when a listing lands in their range. Zoom into place. Massachusetts is rarely one market. It's dozens of micro-markets, each writing its own chapter. By September 2025, typical home values moved unevenly, but mostly higher across scores of cities and towns. Norwell posted the biggest one-year bump among the 50 tracked places, adding $53,660 to reach a typical value of $1,277, $653, up 5.5%. Weston, long a bellwether at the very top end, registered a typical value of $2,200 and $20,602, up $48,044 in 12 months, a 2.2% gain. Wellesley followed with $1,969,343, up $42,206, also 2.2%. Wenham rose $46,683 to $1,040,132, a 4.7% gain. Manchester climbed $46,657 to $1,289,884, up 3.8%. At the other edge of the price spectrum, Adams inside the Pittsfield Metro saw a typical value of $263,580, up $20,736 in a year, an 8.5% jump. That range, $263,580 to $2,220,602, drew a map of the Commonwealth's diversity, while the direction of travel tilted upward. Consider the North Shore and coastal towns. Gloucester's typical value reached $759,274, rising $30,224 year over year, a 4.1% increase. Marblehead stood at $1,244,768, adding $19,002, a 1.9% rise. Situate posted $9,006,3908, up $20,586, a 2.2% move. Marshfield hit $774,194, up $19,792, a 2.6% gain. Duxbury rose to $1078, $10,765, higher by $24,087 in 12 months, a 2.3% increase. Cohasset, blending coastline and commuter access, marked $1,390,509, up $28,174, a 2.1% rising tide. Cape Ann to the South Shore, the numbers hint at tight conditions that still favor sellers when list prices land near the market median for each micro area. In affluent western suburbs, a cluster of towns showed steady but measured gains. Newton's typical value hit $1,490 times $949, up $34,506, a 2.4% increase in 1 year. Lexington rose to $1,560, up $26, $790, a 1.7% move. Winchester registered $1,514,768, up $19,899, a 1.3% rise. Dover stood at $1,746,599, up $35,329, a 2.1% climb. Lincoln posted $1,518,768, rising $30 to $6,647, a 2.5% increase. Concord hit $1,437, up $34,801 in a year, a 2.5% gain. Needham reached $1,513,544, up $22,323, a 1.5% bump. Westwood marked $1,211,197, up $23,479, a 2.0% rise. Sherborne hit $1,209,864, up $35,985, a 3.1% move. Boxford crossed $1,047,997, up $30 to $3,762, a 3.3% gain. In towns where the starting price is already high, even 1 to 3% changes translate into $20,000 to $40,000 shifts in a single year. Head north and west of Boston, the Merrimack Valley and North Shore interior showed a different mix of prices, but a similar push upward. Andover's typical value rose to $980,274, higher by $22,976, a 2.4% increase. Lawrence reached $500,341, up $17,738, a 3.7% surge. Methuen climbed to $609,720, adding $20,348, a 3.5% gain. Danvers posted $721,646, up $17,993, a 2.6% move. Raleigh hit $787,048, up $18,492, a 2.4% rise. West Newbury marked $942,399, up $19,854, a 2.2% increase. Hamilton posted $878,750 F-buy, higher by 22,767 buys, a 2.7% rise. Merrimack reached $653,640, gaining $22,792, a 3.6% push. Newbury stood at $925,253, up $22,306, a 2.5% climb. These towns collectively illustrate how a few percentage points lock in five-figure gains as the calendar turns. Worcester County and the central Massachusetts arc carried steady momentum. Grafton's typical home value moved to $600,841, up $17,485, a 3.0% gain. Sutton marked $627,201, up $17,573, a 2.9% increase. Berlin reached $655,085, up $21,575, a 3.4% rise. West Bridgewater, straddling the commuter belt, posted $585,266, up $19,315, a 3.4% increase. Ashland, feeding into the Boston commuter flow, stood at $667,142, up $18,043, a 2.8% move. Pembroke reached $648,314, up $17,750, a 2.8% gain. Hanson clocked $598,383, higher by $17,658, a 3.0% increase. In these towns, the scale is more moderate than in Weston or Wellesley, but the direction matches. Higher values and persistent competition for the listings that show well. Western Massachusetts told its own story. In Berkshire County and the Pittsfield Metro, five-year arcs have been strong, and recent one-year gains remain notable. Egremont posted a typical value of $805,000, up $52,686 in 1 year, a 6.9% climb. Over 5 years, that's a $341,259 increase, a 73.6% surge. West Stockbridge reached $670,106, up $20,213 in 12 months, a 3.1% gain. The 5-year change, $278,653, a 71.2% rise. Monterey stood at $729,616, up $28,985 in a year, a 4.1% move, a 5-year increase of $248,486, or 51.6%. Stockbridge registered $738,102, up $26,652, a 3.7% annual increase. 5 years added $283,842, or 62.5%. Tyringham hit $694,254, up $21,923, a 3.3% rise. 5 years added $216,797, up 45.4%. Mount Washington reached $621,035, up $30,308 in a year, a 5.1% rise. 5 years brought $204,941 more, up 49.3%. Adams, more affordable but fast-moving, posted $263,580, up $20,736 in a year, 8.5% higher. The 5-year move of $105,680 amounts to 66.9%. The slope is clear. Western Massachusetts has compounded gains across half a decade, while the latest 12 months kept pace. Greater Boston's coastal belt and high-value towns compounded growth over 5 years as well, though with different velocity. Weston's 5-year increase measured $832,165, a 55.9% climb. Wellesley added $640,686 in 5 years, up 48.2%. Lincoln advanced by $515,631, a 51.4% jump. Dover rose by $554,678, up 46.5% across 5 years. Cohasset added $407,260, a 53.9% increase. Manchester climbed by $473,998, up 58.1%. Concord rose by $510,696, a 55.0% increase. Norwell added $368,108, a 55.8% climb. Duxbury accumulated $410,180 in 5 years, up 61.4%. Marshfield added $270,096, a 53.6% move. Even towns with smaller one-year gains, like Winchester at $430,901 over 5 years, up 39.8%, have banked substantial long-run appreciation. That long arc frames how buyers and sellers calibrate value today. On the North Shore's upper tier, the mix is consistent. Boxford climbed by $346,856 over 5 years, a 49.5% rise, while adding $33,762 in the latest year, up 3.3%. Wenham's 5-year increase was $383,462, up 58.4%, with a 1-year gain of $46,683, up 4.7%. Hamilton rose by $260,000 in 5 years, up 42.1%, with a $22,767 one-year gain, 2.7%. Gloucester's 5-year change reached $263,332, up 53.1%, while the past year added $30,224, up 4.1%. Marblehead added $305,605 over 5 years, up 42.5%, and $19,002 in the past year, a 1.9% rise. Rockport, higher priced but calmer, posted a typical value of $862,054, with a $17,210 one-year increase, 2.0%, and a 5-year rise of $260,828, 43.4%. Across these towns, the numbers point to durable demand and limited new supply. Rivers meet oceans, and policy meets pressure. 6 new developments received the green light to add over 800 homes in the places policy calls gateway cities. The lever is the Housing Development Incentive Program, with $15,000 in awards directed to jumpstart growth. In Fall River 2000, $500,000 supports Bedford Street lofts and 52 units. Fitchburg's 533 Main Street will bring 17 homes with $1,000. Haverhill's District Square targets over 120 homes using $3,000. In Lowell, 484 Merrimack aims for 24 homes with $300,000. Revere's Portico 1 and 2 plan over 470 units on the former Suffolk Downs site with $5,000. Worcester's 17 Pearl expects nearly 140 housing units supported by $10,000. 6 cities, more than 800 homes, and a $15,000 push signal, a direct response to scarcity. There are 26 gateway cities across the state. This slice reaches 6 of them, from the Merrimack Valley to the South Coast. That matters when you look back at statewide flows. In October 2027, 3,921 single-family homes closed. The month before, September recorded a 4.8% rise in single-family closings and a 6.4% increase in condo closings versus September 2020, 14. If inventory for single-family was 4.2% lower in September year-over-year, but new single-family listings rose 7.5% and still couldn't fully replenish stock, then supply remains the choke point. The HDIP pipeline won't transform inventory overnight, but more than 800 planned homes across Fall River, Fitchburg, Haverhill, Lowell, Revere, and Worcester can take pressure off in specific submarkets. Nearly 140 new units at 17 Pearl in Worcester won't change Newton's median, it will change Worcester's choices. Over 470 units at Suffolk Downs won't move Berkshire's values, it will add critical apartments and homes in Revere's orbit. Meanwhile, the condo market flashed mixed signals over late summer and early fall. In August 2021, condo prices decreased 3.1% year-over-year to $540,000, even as new condo listings were up 2.9% and inventory rose 0.9%. Closed sales for condos in August slipped only 0.5%. 1 month later, condo closed, sales were up 6.4% in September, and the condo median was $525,000, up 1% year-over-year. The bounce suggests that a brief price dip paired with growing condo inventory gave buyers a foothold. By October, condo closed sales did see a 1.1% decline, even as the median moved up to $549,900, a 2.8% year-over-year rise. When pricing is balanced, buyers step in. When pricing leans too far above recent medians, the data signal a slower pace. Single-family told a steadier tale across those months. In August, the median was $680,000, up 4.6% year-over-year. In September, the single-family median stood at $654,500, up 4.7% year-over-year, followed by $660,000 in October, up 2.3%. New single-family listings increased 1.3% in August, then 7.5% in September. Inventory for single-family fell 3.3% in August and 4.2% in September on a year-over-year basis. That pattern modest listing growth against net lower inventory explains why even small shifts in pricing spark big changes in buyer engagement. It also explains why closed sales dipped 4.6% in August for single-family, then rose 4.8% in September, and continued higher into October with 3,921 closed. The market favored ready buyers and sellers who met the market rather than reached past it. Against that Massachusetts backdrop, the national baseline barely moved. In September, the typical home value in the United States was $364,891 flat, 0.0% higher than the year before. Inside the Commonwealth, many towns stacked five-figure gains over the same 12 months. Norwell added $53,660. Weston, $40, $84. Wellesley, $42,206. Wenham, $46,683. Gloucester, $30,224. Lawrence, $17,738. Adams, $20,736. Egremont, $51,686. Even modest year-over-year percentage increases of 2 to 4% compounded into tens of thousands of dollars across dozens of cities and towns. The coastal hubs and high-priced suburbs weren't the only places accumulating. Springfield metro towns moved decisively. East Hampton's typical value reached $2,674, up $18,765 in a year, a 4.6% rise. 5 years added $128,882, up 43.9%. Longmeadow hit $522.62, up $22,563, a 4.1% annual increase. 5 years delivered $150.09, $919 more, up $40.40. The pattern repeats in Greater Worcester and the Southern Arc near Plymouth County. West Bridgewater at $555,266, up $19,315 in a year. Hanover's neighbors, like Pembroke at $648,314, up $17,750. Hanson at $5,908,000, $383, up $17,658. North of Boston, Concord at $1,400,000, $300,000, $18,000, up $34,000. Newton at $1,499,000, $18,400,000, $18,506. Andover at $980,274, up to 97069. Winchendon and Leominster aren't in this slice, but nearby Grafton at $600,841, up $17,485, and Berlin at $655,855 show the drumbeat. Price level isn't destiny, flow is. Where new listings appear, up 7.5% for single-family and 13.3% for condos, in September closed sales follow. Where inventory contracts, down 4.2% for single-family in September bidding, remains taut. In August, statewide single-family closed sales fell 4.6%. In September, they rose 4.8%. In October, single-family closings hit 3,921, up 5.6% year-over-year. Condos dipped in August by 0.5% on closed sales, rebounded to a 6.4% increase in September, then slipped 1.1% in October. These swings aren't random. Signals suggest buyers are rotating between single-family and condos as pricing shifts month to month, especially when condo inventory grows and single-family inventory tightens. That helps explain why the condo median reset to $540,000 in August, then the sector regained traction by September and October, with median levels of $525,000 and $549,000, respectively, both up year over year. Look again at the long run. Over 5 years, Weston added $832,165 to a typical value, Wellesley added $640,686, and Dover added $554,678. Concord rose by $510,696, Lincoln by $515,631, and Cohasset by $487,260. Norwell added $368,108, Marshfield $270,096, and Gloucester $263,332. In Berkshire County, Egremont added $341,259, West Stockbridge $278,653, and Stockbridge $283,842. Adams, with a far lower starting base, still added $105,680 across 5 years. These numbers tell the same story from separate corners. Supply constrained for years with concentrated drips of new product. That's why those 6 gateway city projects matter. They don't resolve the whole shortage, but they inject more than 800 homes across Fall River, Fitchburg, Haverhill, Lowell, Revere, and Worcester at a moment when new listings statewide are trending up, but inventory remains tight for single family. The Suffolk Downs plan in Revere Portico 1 and 2 anchors the list by scale. Over 470 units with $5,000 in HDIP support gives a coastal city with transit and jobs a chance to absorb demand that would otherwise press farther up the coast into places like Linfield or deeper into Essex County. In Haverhill, over 120 homes at District Square with $3,000 in awards will reinforce a downtown corridor that has been steadily remaking itself. A mirror to the $1,300,000 directed at 24 homes at 484 Merrimack and Lowell just downriver. Worcester's nearly 140 units at 17 Pearl Harness, $20,000 to expand supply in a city that's drawn spillover from Boston's price arc. Fall River's 52 units at Bedford Street Lofts, backed by $2,500,000, touch the South Coast where single-family medians have crept up, and Fitchburg's 17 homes at 533 Main Street with $1,000 are a precise needle, smaller but on target. 6 projects, $15K total. The state's gateway cities are the lever arms for the next leg of supply. Hold those projects side by side with September's statewide new listing numbers. New condo listings up 13.3% year over year. New single-family listings up 7.5%. That momentum carried into October, where single-family closings rose 5.6% to 3,921. Even in October, the condo median price didn't fall. It rose 2.8% to $549,900 on a small sales decline of 1.1%. When the market sends up a flare, that pricing discipline draws buyers seen in the September jump in condo and single-family closings, sellers who match the moment gain leverage. That's the through line across August, September, and October. Stir up new listings, calibrate prices, and the deals materialize even against scarcity. If you want proof in names and numbers, line them up. Sherborne, $1,200 and $9,864, up 30, $5,985, a 3.1% gain. Lincoln, $1,518,768, up $36,647, a 2.5% increase. Dover, $1,740, $6,599, up $35,329, a 2.1% move. Weston, $2,220,602, up $48,044, a 2.2% rise. Wellesley, $1,960, $2,343, up $42,206, a 2.2% change. Concord, $1,432, $310,000, up $32.18, a $1, a 2.5% bump. Newton, $1,497, up $34,506, a 2.4% lift. Needham, $1,513,544, up $22,323, a 1.5% gain. Winchester, $1,514,768, up $19,899, a 1.3% increase. Boxford, $1,047,997, up $33,762, a 3.3% jump. Wenham, $1,040,132, up $46,683, a 4.7% shot higher. Gloucester, $759,274, up $30,224, a 4.1% rise. Marshfield, $774,194, up $19,792, a 2.6% increase. Scituate, $976,398, up $20,586, a 2.2% move. Duxbury, $1,765, up $24,080.07, a 2.3% lift. Norwell, $1,207,653, up $53,660, a 5.5% surge. Danvers, $721,646, up $17,993, a 2.6% gain. Ashland, $667,142, up $18,042.30, a 2.8% move. Grafton, $600,841, up $17,485, a 3.0% rise. Sutton, $627,201, up $17,573, a 2.9% increase. Berlin, $655,087, up $21,575, a 3.4% lift. Lawrence, $500,341, up $17,738, a 3.7% rise. Methuen, $609,720, up $20,348, a 3.5% gain. Merrimack, $653,640, up $22,792, a 3.6% increase. Newbury, $925,253, up $22,383, $306, a 2.5% move. West Newbury, $942,399, up $19,854, a 2.2% lift. Raleigh, $787,048, up $18,492, a 2.4% rise. Marblehead, $1,240, $768, up $19,002, a 1.9% change. Rockport, $862,054, up $17,210, a 2.0% gain. Chilmark, $2,322,845, up $17,690, a 0.8% increase. Adams, $263,580, up $20,736, an 8.5% rise. Egremont, $805,000, up $55,686, a 6.9% gain. Stockbridge, $738,102, up $26,652, a 3.7% rise. West Stockbridge, $670,106, up $20,213, a 3.1% move. Tyringham, $694,254, up $21,923, a 3.3% increase. Monterey, $729,616, up $28,985, a 4.1% gain. Mount Washington, $621,035, up $30,308, a 5.1% rise. That mosaic of numbers tells one story: steady appreciation, region by region, with sharpest one-year bursts in select towns and a broad five-year swell that's reshaped budgets across the Commonwealth. Why are these numbers decisive? Because they put power in context. Sellers are operating in a state where a $20,000 to $50,000 one-year change in typical value is common across many towns. Buyers are walking into listings where new supply is rising in the fall. 7.5% more single-family listings in September year over year, and 13.3% more condo listings, but where single-family inventory still sits 4.2% lower than last September. In October, single-family closings hit 3,921, up 5.6%, a sign that demand is not just intact, it's reactivated when choices appear and pricing fits. In August, the market tested buyers with fewer single-family closings, a 4.6% decline, and a drop in the condo median to $540,000. By September, buyers answered with higher closings across both single-family and condos, and by October, momentum in single-family carried through even as condo sales softened slightly. The range across incomes and geographies is wide, but the mechanism is the same. New listings change the conversation, pricing closes it. It's not an abstraction. When Marshfield's typical value is $774,000, $194 after a $19,792 rise, and the single-family statewide median is $660,000 in October, a Marshfield listing priced close to its neighborhood median can still end up above the statewide median by more than $100,000. In Lawrence, at a typical value of $500,000, $341, an affordable listing can draw multiple offers because it brackets demand that's priced out of nearby towns. When condo inventory grows up 0.9% in August and up 5.1% in September, year over year, the condo segment can temporarily absorb buyers stepping down from single-family budgets, which explains why condo sales strengthened in September. Policy's role is leverage, not rescue. The HDIP awards $15,000 for over 800 homes are precisely targeted. The unit counts are specific: 52 in Fall River, 17 in Fitchburg, over 120 in Haverhill, 24 in Lowell, over 470 in Revere, nearly 140 in Worcester. Total those, more than 800 new homes distributed across 6 gateway cities out of a universe of 26. These aren't abstract numbers. A $2,500,000 allocation for 52 units in Fall River means roughly $48,000 in state incentive per unit. In Fitchburg, $1,000 for 17 homes implies nearly $59,000 per home. Haverhill's $3,000 for over 120 homes suggests a sub-$25,000 per unit boost. Lowell's 24 homes at $1,300,000 sit around $54,000 per unit. Revere's $5,000 for over 470 units indicates a roughly $10,000 per unit nudge at Suffolk Downs, a large-scale site where infrastructure and private capital carry the rest. Worcester's nearly 140 units at $2,000 comes in around $14,000 per planned home. These back-of-envelope ratios underscore the program's intent: catalyze, not fully fund. Add those units to a market where October single-family closings numbered 3,921 and September new listings rose notably, and you start to see the mechanics of relief. If you zoom back out to the coastal arc and the Western Hills, the 5-year picture explains the urgency. Weston's $18,000 and $32,500 5-year rise matches nearly 1.5 times the current United States typical home value of $364,1891 from September 1st. Wellesley's $640,686 rise dwarfs many regional household savings stacks. Egremont's $341,259 climb outpaces the typical U.S. almost dollar for dollar. Adams, moving from a much lower base, still added $105,680 in 5 years, a sum that can be the entire down payment for a first-time buyer in nearby towns. When numbers like these become normal, programs like HDIP aren't luxury, they're structural. What does this mean heading into the winter of 26 and 5 and early spring of 26? The base case is modest stability with a tilt toward gradual price gains anchored by facts already in motion. New listings rose in September 7.5% for single-family and 13.3% for condos, and the October single-family median of $660,000 came with more closings, up 5.6% to $3,921. Condo medians ticked up from $525,000 in September to $549,900 in October, even as October condo sales slipped 1.1%. Signals suggest that as long as new listings keep inching higher and sellers continue Goldilocks pricing, the market will maintain an active, if measured, pace into the first quarter. In towns where one-year increases hovered between 2.0% and 5.5%, like Marblehead at 1.9%, Andover at 2.4%, Wenham at 4.7%, and Norwell at 5.5%, expect similar gradients rather than spikes unless inventory changes abruptly. 2 watch items matter. First, the listing pipeline through January and February 2026. If new single-family listings continue to print above last year's pace matching or exceeding the 7.5% September increase, and condo listings maintain something like the September 13.3% rise, buyers will have more options, and closing volume should hold up even with winter seasonality. If, instead, listings sag back to August, levels up only 1.3%, for single-family expect a tighter feel, with single-family inventory likely to stay below last year's level, as it was in September at negative 4.2% year-over-year. Second, the execution speed of the more than 800 HDIP-supported units in Fall River, Fitchburg, Haverhill, Lowell, Revere, and Worcester. If construction schedules stay on track across 52 units in Fall River, 17 in Fitchburg, over 120 in Haverhill, 24 in Lowell, over 470 in Revere, and nearly 140 in Worcester, local pressure points will ease into late 2007. If delays mount, scarcity persists, and the 5-year trend of large gains, $832,165 in Weston, $640,686 in Wellesley, $341,259 in Egremont retains the upper hand across more markets. Between now and spring, the market will reward preparation. In August, single-family closings fell 4.6%, a reminder that timing and pricing can stall a sale. In September, closed sales rose 4.8% for single-family and 6.4% for condos, as new listings rose and medians held at $654,500 for single-family and $525,000 for condos. In October, single-family deals grew to 3,921, and the median held at $660,000. Condos landed at a $549,900 median with a 1.1% sales dip. Those are the guardrails. If you're selling in Newton at a typical value of $1,490,949 with a $34,506 one-year gain, or in Worcester's Orbit where new units are coming, your true north is still the local median and the number of live listings. If you're buying in Adams at $263,580 after an 8.5% annual jump, or in Norwell at $1,276, $653 after a 5.5% gain, the right offer is the one that aligns with both the latest month's medians and your neighborhood's one-year move, not just last spring's comp. The market's center of gravity in Massachusetts this fall is disciplined pricing against tight but shifting supply. The numbers are the narrative. October 2025 carried 3,921 single-family closings, up 5.6% year-over-year. The single-family median was $660,000, up 2.3%. Condos netted a $549,900 median in October, up 2.8%, with a 1.1% dip in sales. September 2025 added 7.5% more new single-family listings and 13.3% more new condo listings, moving closings higher by 4.8% and 6.4% respectively. August served as a cautionary tale. Single-family closings down 4.6%, single-family inventory down 3.3%, condo median down 3.1% to $540,000, with condo inventory up just 0.9%. Thread in more than 800 planned homes across 6 gateway cities with $15 million in awards, and you get a Commonwealth edging toward balance one, listing, one project, one median at a time. Here's the outlook in one sentence. If new listings keep climbing through winter and the HDIP projects stay on path, expect Massachusetts medians to hold or drift modestly higher into early spring 2026, with single-family remaining tight where inventory stays negative year over year, and condos offering pockets of relief where inventory continues to grow. If this helped you see the Massachusetts market more clearly, consider subscribing for the next data-anchored update.